up at the top. All right, so it's official. Welcome to our Twins Delivery Day Bootcamp. I am Natalie Diaz, founder and big cheese here at Twiniversity. And before we even kind of jump in, I would like for you guys to just throw in the chat and just say, hi, my name is Nat. I am from Illinois and I am 15 weeks pregnant with my twinnies. And hopefully you guys will be able to find a partner that is expecting around the same time as you, or maybe even lives right around the corner from you and you may not even know. So Twiniversity isn't just an educational platform. We really are a community. We are a global support network for families of multiples. So it does not matter where you are on this globe. We want to make sure that you have a better experience being a parent of twins, because I don't know if you guys have singletons. I know Amanda could speak because she had a singleton before she had twins, which is definitely not the way to do it. The other way around is definitely better and highly recommended. But I just want to let you guys know that really we are here to make sure that every single day of your twin pregnancy, you feel heard, you feel recognized, and you do not feel like a leper of the parenting community, because I am so sick of people saying to me, even now that my twins are 432 years old, twins, I don't know how you do it. Better you than me. Double trouble. That must be a lot of work. You have your hands full. Stop me when you've heard this one. Okay, because that's all that we hear from the singleton universe. And our number one, I am proud to announce, which Amanda doesn't even know this, our number one most listened to podcast is, the title is called Shitting on Singletons. Okay, that is literally the title. And so I apologize for the little ears that are in the room. I will watch my language as much as possible. But in all sincerity, that has been the most legendary podcast we have ever done. And the interesting part was that wasn't even the title of that podcast of what it was supposed to be. It just turned into a venting session with me and another twin mom. So definitely go check out our podcast. That is one of my faves. Yay, Sam from NYC. Whoop, 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 whoop. Beautiful. Okay, guys. So I am going to jump in because we do have a set curriculum today, but we can go off the rails at any time. So as I said, Amanda from my team is here. And if you guys have any questions, Amanda will let me know in case I miss it. Like if you guys are shooting them off to us fast and furiously, then Amanda just cut and paste it and throw it in a message and I will look at that. Okay, don't send it through Viber, send it through iMessage and I'll see that first. Okay, good. All right, guys. So who the hell am I and why should you care? First of all, I don't know why anybody cares. I have to be honest. I'm still surprised every single day that I am doing this, but I really do it because I don't want you to have the same experience that I did. So my therapist would say that I am trying to right the wrongs of my past, which apparently can never be done. But I say to hell with that idea. I'm going to keep going at the rate that I'm going. So who I am Natalie Diaz. I am the author of What to Do When You're Having Two and the Newborn Twin Sleep Guide. And I may be writing another book as we speak. Amanda, I started it. Boom, boom, boom. I am also a CPST, which stands for Child Passenger Safety Technician. So I am one of those car seat crazy people, but I am really not as crazy as some of the car seat people that are out there, but really safety first. But I did want to get educated on making sure that your kiddos are in a safe car seat when you are in a giant moving tank about the highways. So that is another certification that I have. I am a childbirth educator since 2009. I started teaching exclusively to twin parents around the globe. I started here in New York City. I am based in Lower Manhattan. I am born and bred on this tiny little island they call Manhattan, and I will probably be dying here as well. I am very, very lucky. But yeah, I think that you would say that, hey, New York City, you probably have 1,000 places to go for classes. But before I started, there really wasn't anything like the way that we teach here at Twiniversity, which isn't just kind of clinical experience. It's also very practical experience. And that I honestly think is much better than, talking about the how to breathe through childbirth and let's create visualization. And not saying that that's not important, but we need to get all of our decks in a row. Okay. Not just on delivery day. In this class, you'll see, we'll talk about a lot of that. Okay. In addition to that, I am a certified lactation consultant, have been for the past 5 years, currently pursuing my IBCLC. I sit for the boards on September 16th, which means that now I have well over 1,500 hours of clinical experience with lactation under my belt. Previous to October, I have exclusively worked with multiple birth parents. So if you're looking for a lactation provider that only works with twinnies, this is your girl. I have seen it, been there, done that, and literally writing the book about it. What? Did she just say that? She did. I'm also the podcast host, as I just mentioned before, and we have well over 200 episodes now. We're starting our new season at the beginning of the year, but we still have a lot more to go for this year. And finally, my most important title is I am a twin mama. That is literally me, I think 2 days or 3 days after my twinnies were born. Actually, I'm lying to you. It's got to be at least 5 days because I'm wearing a shirt and not wearing a hospital gown. So the timing is a little bit off. But I am the mama of twinnies. I had my twinnies on 34 weeks on the day. I had a vaginal delivery. I still don't know how. I really thought I was having a planned C-section, but apparently Mother Nature had other plans. My twinnies did spend over a month in the NICU. They are now wonderfully 19 years old. I know you're like, oh my God, she's only like 26. How does she possibly have like 19 years? Yeah, I know. It's weird. I don't get time travel either, but that I have no role in that. So I let it slide. But yes, this is my all-time favorite thing is being a twin mom. And every single day, even with my twinnies at this age, I don't know how I did it either, but it is the most rewarding experience. And that was my Everest. So if there's a way that I could help you guys get to the top, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what this class is about to do. All right, so today, here is our agenda. This is what we are going to learn. So we are going to talk about the top fears that twin families have when it comes to labor and delivery. We're going to talk about 3 things to do before delivery day. We're going to kind of narrow it down, and we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of it. We're going to talk about birth date preferences. So you may know them as a birth plan. We're going to talk about it as a birthday preference. We're also going to talk about being an advocate for you and your twinnies. And then we're going to talk about recovery tips, and we're going to talk about your first introduction to your twinnies. Okay. So this is our agenda for the day. We will have time for Q&A at the end, but just know that I'm going to try to pack in as much as possible. So if you have questions throughout this entire presentation, then please, I'm genuinely serious, pop them in the chat. Do not hesitate to pop them in the chat. That is the way that we give you guys the most for your money, which I know this was free, but your time is valuable. And so I want to make sure you guys feel good about this. So hi to everybody, and let's jump into our very first thing. Okay, but before we do that, you guys already know about the delivery day workbook. I'm going to move past it very quickly, but that is what is in my hand. And it is especially important if you're looking at the twins' birthday preferences, the questions for your insurance company, or the questions for the hospital. There is no freaking way that I could get to all of those in this class because they are literally pages of them. But we have found a lot of loopholes or hacks, if you want to call it, about ways that you could get the most out of your insurance company, including getting your Twiniversity classes paid for. So we just want to put that out there for you guys. So that is what is in our delivery day workbook. All right, so now let's get into it. I want to know from all of you here, and if you guys are cool with just being honest and throwing this out there, but I want to know, what is your biggest fear right now? Whether it is about your pregnancy, whether it is about parenting, whether it is about your own mental health, whether it is about your relationship. If you feel comfortable with sharing whatever the one item that is keeping you up at night the most, and it could be like super silly, right? Like super duper silly. Like, what if I poop, right? That's one of the ones on there. You may think it's silly, but if it's keeping you up at night, it is not silly. And there is no such thing as a stupid question or a stupid way to feel. And I really would like, if you have been having a lot of negative self-talk, I really would like if today is the day that we make the change for that. Okay. So the saying, we have a few weird sayings in the Diaz house, but one of them is, it's only too late if you don't start now. And so if you've been second guessing a lot of the things that the decisions that you've made, or just this whole, maybe you don't even want these kids anymore, which we've heard that one before. You didn't want twins. For the record, I wanted one baby. Thanks to IVF, I ended up with two. So I feel ya. But we have a lot of people who do single embryo transfers and then they split and they're just really stressed about it. But what is the one thing that's keeping you up? And if you guys take a look on the side right now and you take a look in the chat, you will really see that a lot of you have a lot of the same concerns, right? Emergency C-section is really up there. That's a really big one. Look, it's like it's trending right now, if I had to say what we see. But emergency C-section is a really big one. Preterm labor, which we're going to cover, is a big one. Extra interventions, that's there too. We're going to talk about preterm labor. But I want you guys to see that you are not alone. And I don't know if that comforts you or that makes you just feel worse for other people, but you are not by yourself in this. And this is why I want you guys to make friends with each other. So if you said like, hey, I'm really stressed about a NICU stay, right? And Hope Wagner was the one that said it, and the health of her babies, then go and chat to Hope and be like, Hope, I feel you. Like, that's it. Look at Lauren. Lauren's like, and this, me too. I want you to know that this is not a solo adventure, right? Well, I am here and I am weirdly behind a screen, like, right? But like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. This is not a nameless community. We are not a faceless community. We're here to help you find each other as much as we possibly can. And so this is one of the first ways that I want you guys to do that. Okay. So please take a look at the comments that are here. Feel free to ignore half the things that I say, but I'm not saying that what I'm saying isn't important, but I'm saying that finding somebody to commiserate with, and the misery loves company, it's really important. So if you feel comfortable with connecting with some of your other fellow twin parents to be, go for it and throw it out there. Okay. So looking at some of the concerns, I do want to address quite a few of them that we have, right? So we'll go with Hope, right? So Hope was saying that she is nervous about having a NICU stay. A NICU stay, I will tell you, 86% of twinnies are born premature. That doesn't mean that there's always a NICU stay. And it also depends on what's going on. So now let's say hypothetically you do end up having your water break a little bit early. Know that yes, you might have twinnies in the NICU if you go into labor at around 30 weeks or so. Like, that's going to be something, but it is not the end of the universe. We have plenty of twin families that were born here at, I think we have 23 weekers, believe it or not. And the podcast is going to be one of those great places to be, that you could hear from families that have had that early labor, that have had those NICU experiences, that have been through it. I've been through it myself. Was it the most pleasant experience in the universe? At the time when I was in it, the NICU was not like the best place in the universe. However, in hindsight, it really was, because those nurses and those doctors taught me so much of things that I'm going to be talking to you about today. Right? So that's just one of them. Going into labor preterm or having an emergency C-section, that is a very valid concern, right? Because there's not every doctor out there that's willing, A, to deliver a baby B breech. And even if baby B is head down, if when baby A comes out and they're like, baby B is like, oh my God, look at all this room in my apartment. I love it here. It's wonderful. Baby B could still flip. And there's not every doctor is comfortable to doing that. But whatever the fears and concerns that you have, I really hope that you are bringing them up to your doctor. When you go to your doctor's visit, it isn't just to be like, tell me how I'm doing, let me get the hell out of here. It really is to create that connection and that trust with that particular healthcare professional, because they know exactly what's going on and they're going to be able to put a lot of your fears at ease. So a lot of the other common concerns that we see is, of course, we have the health of our babies, right? We have, will my wishes be respected, which is a very, very big one. We're going to talk about that today. We have worried about being cared for by strangers. We have people worried about being a good parent, which is totally something that a lot of people are worried about, but maybe you're too afraid to say out loud. But there are a lot of concerns that we have as parents of twins, but no matter what concern you have, you are not by yourself in thinking about this. I do want you to create kind of a new mantra though, right? So I already told you one of our secrets here at the Twiniversity house is it's only too late if you don't start now, which I honestly feel like would make like a nice face tattoo, like right about here, or maybe like all the way around. We'll have it like that. But another one is what is my reality? And when you start getting concerned about preterm labor or your emergency C-section or about the NICU, I want you to say to yourself, what is my reality? And your reality is at this current time, your babies are healthy, your babies are safe, your babies are inside, and I want you to stay focused on that. If you allow stress to kind of overtake you in whatever form it does, being that you want to retreat or you don't want to eat or you just can't talk to anybody and you start isolating yourself, that is when I'm going to start to worry about you. And I don't want to worry about you because we have enough things to worry about, right? So I want you to say, what is my reality? And if there are things about your reality, maybe your pregnancy isn't going as planned, or maybe they found something with the babies that is concerning you. Make sure that you speak to your doctor about that. And if you need to, speak to the social worker at the hospital and maybe even ask your doctor if they could recommend you to a healthcare professional that specializes in maternity mental health, because that is a very kind of micro niche topic, but it does exist. And if you really are starting to kind of lose yourself and stop, and you are not enjoying this pregnancy as much as you should, I really would like if you would strongly consider speaking to somebody. But remember, you could always kind of speak to us, right? Every single month, we have our Twiniversity support group, and we are here just for you guys. So know that we do have that. So that's one thing that we have for you guys. But please do not worry about things that aren't reality, right? Like, Michelle, you're worried about preterm labor and not being ready. Nobody's ever ready, by the way. That's not a thing. There's no matter how many classes you take or whatever, we can never be ready for what's about to come. But preterm labor, unless the doctor gave you a reason to say, hey, listen, it looks like these babies are going to come early, there's no reason to think that they're going to come early. While I say that, yes, we do have a higher rate of preterm labor and prematurity, I will also tell you that term for us is 38 weeks. Many doctors don't let twin families go beyond 38 weeks. So we don't typically see like the 40 week, the 41, the 42-week deliveries. So many of our full term deliveries are still considered on the premature side. So know that when I say these crazy statistics, it's because we're never going to be allowed to go 40 weeks unless you've already had like 5 delicious pregnancies and your uterus is a well-inflated balloon. Then maybe the doctor would consider letting you go past 38. But honestly, many doctors don't. Even if you have had the 5 pregnancies, you'll have to fight for that. But that is a different topic for a different day. And so we're going to put that aside. But just now, if you do not have any reason to be stressed, then don't stress. And do not stress until the doctors tell you, yes, this is a concern. And yes, we need to handle it. Okay. So you just put that to the side. All right. So the next thing that I want to cover is 3 things to do way before your delivery day. Now, many people say, hey, like, when am I supposed to do this? I'm going to say that I really would like these things done by week 30. Okay, so when I say they can't be done too soon, looking at some of the dates that you guys were throwing out there before and how quickly these babies are around the corner. Yes, you guys, there's quite a few of you that are over the 30-week mark already. However, it's only too late if you don't start now, right? So these are the things that I want you to kind of get in order immediately. So the first thing is your hospital bag. Now, is it critical if you get to the hospital and you do not have stuff in your hospital bag? No, it's fine. The hospital is going to provide every single thing for you that you potentially need. You may need going home clothes and stuff like that, but God forbid, if you didn't even have that and you lived 4 hours away and you couldn't get it, odds are the hospital does have clothes for you. So don't get too stressed. The reason why I say it's important is because those creature comforts give us a lot of relief and make us feel better and make us feel a little bit more in control, which that's going to be kind of a trending theme here, is that these are the things that are in your control. So the things that we're talking about today are easily in control. And of course, packing your hospital bag is one of them. So when we're looking at what to pack in our hospital bag, I want you and your partner to pack separately. Okay. I don't want you packing your same bag. If you guys go on vacation and you typically pack your own bags, then I do not know why in a hospital people are packing one bag with everything in it. The other reason why I think you need to have two separate bags is because for some reason, if you and your partner should be split up, right? Like maybe you need to spend an extended time in recovery. Maybe your blood pressure wasn't balancing. Maybe your blood sugar wasn't coming down. Maybe there was some other reason that they were concerned about you, and your partner and the babies are already up in your nice room post delivery. You guys will not be able to share a bag, or he or she will have to rummage through your bag and find whatever it is of theirs. So packing two separate bags, you know where your stuff is in your bag, they know where the stuff is in their bag, and we are all good. Okay, so let's talk about the things that are in there. Some of the items that are not typical, right? Because I'm not going to say, like, you could go to literally any freaking website and be like, what do you put in your hospital bag? Go read those websites. I want to talk about the things that I know that people typically don't put in their hospital bag that are important. Okay, so the number one, it sounds stupid, but an extension cord. Everybody brings their phone chargers and everybody brings wonderful plugs and all this stuff. However, in a hospital, most of the plugs are behind the bed. And if you only have a 6-foot charger, that's not going to go very far, especially if you're putting your bed up, right? So if I'm putting the back of the bed up, I'm already pushing it about 3 feet away from the wall, which isn't giving me a lot of slack to actually use my phone or tablet or computer or whatever you bring. I don't think you should bring your computer, but I'm just throwing it out there. It doesn't give you a lot of leeway to move and do the things that you need to do. So packing an extension cord is great. Also, packing an extension cord that has multiple kind of plugs at the end. Like there's one by Anchor that I love so much that it has like 2 USB chargers, one USB-C charger, and then 2 plugs. Like that would be great. And you only need like a 6-foot or 10-foot extension cord. That's all that you need. So that's one of the big items. The second big item that I really think you need to have, and this sounds so stupid, but you need to have like a snack. Now, I'm not saying like, pack a pastrami sandwich in your bag, although that sounds like a great snack right about now. But maybe like a Cliff Bar or a Luna Bar or some packs of nuts or something like that. Because let's just say hypothetically, we deliver in the middle of the night, right? We go into labor, our water breaks at home at 10 o'clock. We labor for, I don't know, a few hours. We deliver the babies at 2 o'clock in the morning. We may not have eaten for 12 to 15 hours before then. We don't know what the day is going to present to us, right? And in the middle of the night, although, yes, there is typically a snack around or a vending machine, that doesn't mean that it's something that you're going to want. So it sounds so dumb, but just pack like a bag of nuts or something that could just hold you over till the next meal in the hospital. Now, if you were having a planned C-section and they told you don't eat after midnight, and now you ended up having your C-section delayed to be later in the day, that could be well over 12 hours, 12 to 24 hours that you didn't even eat something. So just think about it. Don't pack like a Costco charcuterie tray, like nothing ridiculous, but just some small snacks would be really, really great. The other things that I really think that you should have is if you are going to have a birth preferences sheet, you should have a hard copy on you to share with the team that's on call that night. Yes, your doctor may have it. Yes, your doctor may have scanned it, but that doesn't mean that the computers are going to be working that day. Something could be down. It's always important to have that stuff on backup. Okay. Other things that you should not bring: don't bring cash, don't bring jewelry. Honestly, if you wear contacts, I would leave those home and just wear your glasses because your eyes are probably going to get a little dry there. So that's something to think about. But ultimately, most of the stuff that they're going to have, but we do have an entire list that's in our delivery day workbook. And in addition to that, we have a partner hospital packing list that's just for them, so that you don't have to say, hey, babe, this is what you got to put in your bag. Like, just give them the list and let them handle it, and not your monkey, not your circus. Don't worry about that. Let them get that done. So that's one of the things. And please, by week 30, it is something that I want you to have taken care of. Now, If you are going to bank your cord blood, which I don't know if you've discussed this with your doctor, if you haven't, I really would initiate that conversation. We are finding that more and more people are not having those conversations with doctors. And yes, Rosie, I would even take off my wedding ring. I would go to the hospital with absolutely no jewelry. And also the other reason, Rosie, why I specifically would take off your wedding ring is that some medications can make your hands swell, and God forbid they swell so much that it actually stops the circulation in your finger. Just literally leave your wedding ring at home or give it to your mom or put it someplace. But yes, that's it. And Samantha's right on it. Yep, she could barely take her rings off now. So yes, leave your rings at home. But going back to cord blood registry, we're finding that because doctor's visits are so limited, people aren't really able to have a full discussion about cord blood banking. And if you do not know what cord blood banking is, I am a huge, huge cord blood banking advocate because I am a family that would have used my cord blood had I had it stored. But I didn't because I did not know cord blood banking was a thing. And so therefore, I did not have the privilege of being able to do that. But what cord blood banking is that in your umbilical cord, there are magical stem cells. And these magical stem cells cannot be replicated somewhere down the line, but they are just sitting there as medical waste in your placenta on the way to your babies, but not necessary because the baby's already finished with everything that they needed. That's why they're being born. But you have these magical stem cells that are just sitting there and they are waiting to be retrieved. And these stem cells could turn into a million different treatments for families for years and years and years to come. Another reason why I think it's important is because I am a huge also organ donor, like literally take all my organs. It's on my license. I wrote it again. I'm listed on every national registry. I'm a huge advocate for this. This is another big thing that I'm an advocate for. So when it comes to stem cells, typically within the United States, we are able to donate those to a public bank. However, for whatever freaking reason that I will never be able to comprehend, twin families are excluded from being able to donate our stem cells. So if you go to bethematch.org, which is the national website for organ donation, you will specifically see that singleton families could donate their stem cells till the cows come home. But for some reason, they're like twin families. No, thank you. Read between the lines. They want nothing to do with it. So if you have any interest in preserving these stem cells for not only for your kids, for yourself, for future generations, this is something you need to look into. The only company that you will ever hear come out of this mouth is Cord Blood Registry. So the reason why we have been talking about cord blood registry for well over 15 years now is because A, they are involved in the most clinical trials within the United States. B, they have the most samples in collection, which I believe is close to 1 million samples right now. And C, you do not pay anything until they know they have a viable sample. So a lot of families are like, oh, but if they don't collect for, this is, by the way, my random voice. Oh, if they don't collect for 20s or if they don't allow me to donate for 20s, then there's probably not going to be enough. We don't know that. So yes, there's a potential that there may not be enough stem cells to bank, but there certainly could be. And one of the reasons why is because Cord Blood Registry has this little medical device that basically pulls the stem cells out of your umbilical cord, even if you choose to do delayed cord blood clamping. And that's a key. So if you're like, nope, I want to do delayed cord blood clamping, that does not mean that you cannot bank. And so with CBR, you don't pay until they know that they have a viable sample. So if you are not familiar with them, you go to cordblood.com. Amanda, if you could throw that in there, that would be great. But if it's something that you have not discussed, please put it on your list of things to discuss, because this is something that we do not get an opportunity to get later on down the line. Literally, your placenta and your umbilical cord is considered medical waste after your babies are born. Yes, you could take it home. Yes, you can make capsules out of it. Yes, you could use it to plant a tree. But if there are life-saving stem cells in there, why don't you even just consider it? So just consider it and understand that we have a code called DUO2. We do not get a commission from CBR with you guys. Like if you book it, like we're not getting an affiliate commission. We've been partners of CBR for years, but whether you do or you don't, it does not matter to us. We have decided to take that commission and give it to you guys. And so you guys have a better chance of being able to afford this. If you did not think you could afford it, please know that you probably can, because it's pretty close to just banking for a singleton. So it's not like a BOGO offer where you buy one, get one free, but we have done a lot of work at Twiniversity to make this as affordable as possible by just giving you the affiliate commission that we typically would make, because I genuinely, in my heart of hearts, feel that it is an important thing that you need to look into. And I swear to you, like I would have used it. I would have actually used it twice. I would have used it once for my son when he was little. He had an issue called sensory processing disorder, and it was one of the things that's currently in clinical trials. And weirdly, currently my husband has a heart condition, and one of the treatments is, drum roll please, stem cells. So I would have loved the opportunity to be able to use my own families if we could. So yeah, so the code is DUO2. Amanda is putting it there, but speak to your doctor. I'm not trying to sell you anything. That's not what we do here at Twiniversity. Our role is just to educate you, to help you make better choices. And even though I think this is a good choice, that doesn't mean that you do, and know that I will still love you forever and ever, even if you opt not to bank. Okay. So just know I want you to do that. So yes, you totally bank your stem cells for your 20s, whether they're identical, whether they're fraternal, it does not matter, but you only get one chance to do that. Okay. So the next thing that I want you to do way before your delivery day is I do want you to take a tour of your hospital. Many people find that tours of hospitals are frivolous, right? There's hospitals that are like, oh, it's not necessary. It is totally freaking necessary, because if you go unexpectedly, right? Like a lot of you were talking about before, you guys were talking about, having an emergency C-section. Well, one of the things that we really kind of want to stress is that if you did have to go in for an emergency delivery or emergency C-section, if you weren't familiar with that hospital and your babies were separated from you when you were in the hospital, and they're like, oh, we're going to bring the babies to the nursery, or we're going to bring your babies to the NICU, in your mind's eye, you will be so much more comforted by knowing where that is. So if you did a hospital tour and you're like, that's what the NICU looks like, that's what recovery looks like, that's what, the labor and delivery rooms look like, that's what the postpartum floor looks like, you will be so much more comfortable, because you'll know, like, okay, my babies are there. That's what it looks like. I'm on 6. The babies are at 3. I'm on the west side of the hospital. The babies are on the east side of the hospital. And you could breathe a little bit easier. So this isn't one of the reasons, just one of them. There are a multitude of reasons why I think you guys need a hospital tour, but that's the big one. When you're on the hospital tour, I also stress that you guys ask if there is only one entrance in the middle of the night. Right? So a lot of hospitals have a separate entrance for mamas that are coming in and having their babies. However, at 2:00 in the morning, with all the staff cutbacks that have happened throughout the United States, the entrance where you have typically gone in for all of your regular visits and your ultrasounds, that may be shut, and there may only be one entrance. And so I don't want you driving around your hospital complex, if it's a big hospital, trying to figure out where the heck you're going to be able to go in at 2:00 in the morning if your water is breaking and you have amniotic fluid all over the place. So always ask, the same place that I go in at 2 a.m., is it the same place that I would go in at 2 p.m.? So those are just 2 items, but we do have, once again, an entire list of questions to ask on your hospital tour in that workbook. Okay, the next thing that I want, this is the bane of my freaking existence. I hate insurance companies so much, and I'm sure at some point they will all come after me for one reason or another. But you are entitled to a lot more things than you probably know. And so insurance companies aren't really big on saying, like, hey, we have this motherhood program, or hey, we have this benefit for you, or hey, you could have a visiting nurse if you have a C-section that then gets infected. Nobody tells my mamas this. And for the record, although I do teach virtually, I deal with tons of families in real life here in New York City. So it's not like I am teaching in a bubble. I literally know that insurance companies are not really big on telling you all the things that you get with the money that you're paying them each month. So there is an entire list. And so one of those things are, when do we get our pump? And one of my favorite ones is, some insurance companies give you a pump per pregnancy, and some give you a pump per live birth. So if you have an insurance company that happens to be one of those that gives you a breast pump per live birth, then you're getting two pumps because you're having two babies. So that's not something that they offer to everybody, right? So just make sure that you're asking the right questions to your insurance. And even if you don't get our delivery day workbook, which has an entire page of questions, always make sure that you are asking them, do you have any special programs for prenatal or postnatal families? Do you offer any additional services like nutritional counseling if you have gestational diabetes or preeclampsia? And ask them if they cover medical equipment. Some insurance companies will totally give you like a raised toilet bowl, like something so simple. They'll give it to you right there so that you have something that's easier for you to use if you can no longer bend down and tie your shoes. Some companies even give you, they have like this sock putter on her. And it's so funny. Like, there are all these medical devices that if you are struggling with something, just because it's a pregnancy, right? And it's not considered like a hip surgery, you still need to know what exactly they'll cover before you start buying random stuff on Amazon. Okay. So any piece of durable medical equipment should be covered by your health insurance. And they may want you to say, like, buy it specifically from like Medline or another company that has these things instead of going to buy it from Amazon. But don't spend money that you do not have to spend, because college tuition for twins does not get lower each year. I will tell you that. I will preach that. I just paid both of their tuitions for the semester, and this is filled with Tito's. I really wish it was, actually, but I'll save that for 2:30. Okay, so the next thing that I want you guys to do is, if you have not considered taking a Twiniversity class, please consider taking a Twiniversity class, whether it's our breastfeeding class, whether it's our expectant twin family class, whether it's our baby safety class. Most of our classes should be covered by your insurance. Once again, call your insurance company and say, hey, is childbirth education covered? Is lactation education covered? Is baby safety education covered? If they say yes, guess what? Our classes will be free. You will just have to provide the super bill. You let us know that you need one. We'll provide one for you, and then you get full reimbursement from your insurance company. Okay, so we got that. All right, so just now know that we have our Breastfeeding Twins Bootcamp that is coming up on September 9th. If you are getting a lot out of this so far, or you like the style of this delivery because it's kind of quick, just know that we have a breastfeeding exclusive class just like this. Instead of bootcamp, it's called Bootcamp. See what we did there? So that is the QR code. You could scan it with your phone right now. If you're on your phone, don't worry, you're going to get an email with it later, but you do want to make sure that you sign up as quickly as possible. Okay, so that is coming up on September 9th. I already am very excited. Another class that I love teaching. And then this, I changed this slide. So Amanda, if it doesn't look familiar to you, it's because I changed it. So this is our delivery day deal. We always have a specific delivery day deal anytime we do a Twiniversity class. Since this is our delivery day class, I wanted to make sure that you guys had access to a big old fat discount. So we're doing 50% off of our on-demand Expecting Twins class. This is over 100 videos, and you will have 9 months of access to watch this with you and your partner, you and your mom, you and your nanny. I do not care who you watch this with. It's not like we think this is only going to be you. I want you to share this with the family members that could get most out of it, because there are things like diapering, bottle feeding, paste bottle feeding that you may want your mom or your aunt or someone else to see, that's going to come and help you when the twinnies are born. Know that you have 9 months to watch these classes over and over and over again. And guess who teaches them? You're right. It's is this, girl? So know that this is what we have on there, and everybody is going to get the gift of the Digital Twins Pregnancy Planner and Journal, which I did create myself, which literally is a digital journal for you to put in pictures of your sonogram, your thoughts and memories. We have live links in there. So know everything is included, and it is currently 50% off. You could scan it. I actually don't know what the price is at 50% off. I want to say $90, Amanda. I don't really know how much it is, but even with that, if you have coverage with your health insurance that covers a childbirth class, hello, as a childbirth educator, this would totally be covered. Okay, so make sure that you scan that. I will show that again to you guys later. Am I going too fast? Thumbs up, guys, hearts if you're with me, high fives, whatever, but some kind of reaction so I know you guys are okay. So far, so good? All right, I just want to check in. All right, thank you, Allison. I see your face and your hand. That makes me very happy. Okay, all right, guys, good. Just want to make sure that you're with me and nobody fell asleep yet. Although I feel like I'm a little loud and extra energized. And weirdly, I had no coffee. Let's figure out this one. I don't know what's happening today. I'm going to say it's in the water here in New York City. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is a lot of you were concerned about preterm labor. Let's get into it, man. How do we know that we're in preterm labor? What are the things that we need to look out for? So the very, very first one is you are having contractions. How the hell you know if it's a contraction if you never had a baby before, right? So I want to explain that a contraction is kind of like a period cramp, but all over the place. It's like an earthquake period cramp, let's say, like a hybrid of the two. So a lot of times when people feel contractions, you just know that something is happening. Now, sometimes a contraction could be like an earth shattering, oh my God, hold on to the table, I am uncomfortable. And sometimes it's just kind of like a little flutter and it goes away and then it comes back. And then you're like, okay, that was nothing. No, it was something. No, I'm making it up. Like contractions are just freaking weird. But yes, there are Braxton Hicks contractions and there are real contractions. The difference is that Braxton Hicks contractions are real contractions with no cervical development, which means that you are not going to dilate, your cervix isn't going to shorten. So they're kind of like trial contractions, let's say, but they're not going to get you kind of into the OR or the delivery room. So, but you do want to pay attention to any contractions that you're having. And interestingly, if you are having contractions, could you please tell somebody? If I had a nickel for every time a mom literally was Googling, am I having contractions? Could you please not Google, am I having contractions? Could you please just tell your partner that you think that you're having contractions and go get them checked? Because if you don't go now, right, or even if it's the middle of the night is the best. There's usually less people there. It'll be 1, 2, 3, you're in and you're out. But if, let's say, you are having contractions and you're earlier on in your pregnancy, they could do things to reverse these contractions. It is not like a delivery sentence. Depending on where you are in your pregnancy journey, just because you're having contractions doesn't mean you're going to go to the hospital and have babies. There's a lot of things that they could do to reverse those contractions, slow them down, and really make them just not productive. But unless you tell somebody, it's not going to happen. Okay, so pinky promise me, everybody, pinky promise, if you're having contractions, then you are going to tell somebody. Okay, so that is one sign that you are in preterm labor. The second sign is that you are having severe lower back pain. So now at the very, very bottom of your spine is your coccyx, and that's your tailbone, and your tailbone actually curves in. And if a baby is trying to descend and they are descending sunny side up, so if you're laying back, they're basically going to be delivered with their face coming out. If the back of their skull is sitting on the back of your tailbone, it is really, let's just say, not comfortable. And if you are having this lower back pain, or if you feel like there's almost like a bone that's broken on your back, you need to tell your doctor. Okay, that means that somebody's coming on down and they're going to probably want to leave soon. So you got to let somebody know. Okay, so that's another one. The next one is, of course, if your water breaks, you need to freaking go to the doctor. Okay, if water is coming out, that means that germs can get in. And that is the real danger of having your water break and just dismissing it, is because with basically your water coming out gives you a potential for infection. God forbid, that's the last thing that we want, it's the last thing that we need. So you go to the hospital. You also will know if you lose your mucus plug. Now, a mucus plug could look anything from like a wad of phlegm that you'd have if you had the flu to a bowl of wet tissues that I don't know if anybody else did. Did anybody, please stop me if you heard this one? Maybe I just went to a bad grammar school, but did anybody in grade school have like stupid boys? I blame the boys who would like wet toilet paper and throw it on the ceiling of the bathroom. No? Am I the only one? Am I the only one? Okay, thank you, Perry, very much for validating that. So a mucus plug could look like that wad of wet tissue. And weirdly, anytime I go to a school and I see some of those on the ceiling that the janitor forgot to clean, now immediately my mind goes to mucus plug, not to the stupid boys that were in third grade. Okay, so just know that if it looks like a wad of wet tissues and it just looks phlegmy, that is probably your mucus plug, but it's better to get it checked than to just think, oh, it's not a big deal. What's the big deal? There's nothing going on. No, it's totally a big deal. So please make sure, okay? The next one is discharge. If you're having any type of discharge, whether it's bloody, whether it's chalky, whether it is mucousy, whether it is cheesy, I do not care. But if something is coming out, we need to get that investigated, okay? I say, and please, if there's one thing that you freaking remember from today, and I really, hand on a Bible, I really mean it. I'll show you. This is my right hand, but you can't see it. It is better to overreact 100% of the time than to underreact once. So I would rather you go to labor and delivery every time and you're like, oh my God, I've been there 3 times this week. I don't care if you've been there 36 times this week. I need you to get checked. Because twinnies, it is not for the faint of heart, right? And we're lucky enough to have these. I want to make sure that you are going to be as safe as possible. So you have to get checked. Now, if you have a vision change, if you have a headache, or if you have sudden swelling, you really need to go get checked because those are signs of preeclampsia. And please, I beg you right now, if you see those signs, you need to tell your partner that you got to go get checked ASAP. Okay, because preeclampsia could turn into eclampsia within the drop of a hat. Hence why this girl had some babies at 34 weeks. So you will be okay. But in addition to knowing about these things during your pregnancy, you also need to know them for post-pregnancy. There is something called postpartum preeclampsia. And it is critical that every twin family knows about it. Okay. And truthfully, even if you have friends that are singletons, I'm not saying that we don't share our information with them, but it is really, really important that everybody knows that postpartum preeclampsia is a thing. Post-COVID, the amount of postpartum preeclampsia that I personally am seeing is easily tripled. Easily in my 15 years of experience, I will say I have never seen the amount of postpartum preeclampsia as I have within the past 3 years. So please just know, vision change anytime, headache anytime, swelling anytime. If you do have an issue with blood pressure in the hospital, please ask the hospital before you get discharged to order you a blood pressure cuff and a blood pressure monitor so that you can monitor your blood pressure at home. This is not something that you roll the dice on. If you are not healthy, nobody is winning, okay? If you are not peeing for 12 hours, you need to call the doctor. If you feel no fetal movement, even just from one of the babies, you call the doctor. And weirdly, I will tell you that a lot of times when people don't feel fetal movement, everything is fine. One baby tends to, I don't want to use the term bully because I don't think that's a nice word, but there are many times that one twinnie will basically push another twinnie into the corner. That's just the way that it goes. And so 120 will be cowering like behind your ribs and being like, no, I'm not going near their feet. I don't blame that baby. That baby's a genius. That's my favorite baby, the one that's hiding in the corner. So just know if you feel no fetal movement, you got to let somebody know. And ultimately, if you feel like something is off, if you're like, I don't get it, this doesn't make sense. Why is this like, there's nothing wrong. I have no discharge. I have no nothing. If you're just sitting there and you're like, I don't feel right. I don't know what I feel. I just don't feel right. Go to the doctor. Okay. Mother Nature is giving you clues that something is up. Go to the freaking doctor. Okay. So do not underreact when it comes to twinnies because there are so many interventions that they could do to slow down delivery or even stop delivery. But unless you let somebody know, nothing's going to happen. Okay, guys? All right. We're moving on. Now, I want to talk about twins' birthday preferences. So the very first one, and we have our whole sheet and our workbook, blah, blah, blah. You know that. But the big ones, the big ones is who will be there on delivery day. If you're literally sending out invitations and who's going to get the golden ticket to be there, I say, first of all, it should be like a bidding situation, like an eBay, like who's going to be the highest bidder. And then you put that money into the stock market. Well, maybe not today, but you do something with that. Just take the cold hard and you want cash. We want no record of this. Okay. But the only people that I want there to be with you are people that you would be okay with if they saw you naked. How about that? How about we just go literally to that? Because I want you to be boobs out all day, all night, right? As your lactation provider, which I know I'm not, but I'm still going to just assume that you're going to listen to me. I need you to have those babies to the tap as much as you possibly can. And so by doing that, if you cannot do that because your father-in-law is coming in or your dad, or you don't feel comfortable or whoever it is, then they should not be there at least the first day. The first day should be you getting acclimated to being a parent and to being kind of the new vending machine if you're going to breastfeed for these babies. Okay, so that's going to be the first thing, is who's going to be there. The second thing is comfort measures. If you are somebody that needs to come home and take 2 Advil because they cut your cuticle too short at the manicurist, we need to tell the doctor about this. Like if you're somebody who has a very low pain threshold, you got to tell your doctor. You also need to tell your doctor if you walked around for 6 months on a broken leg, because they need to know that too. If you have a very high or a very low pain threshold, somebody needs to know. And if there is a way that you prefer to be comforted, then they have to know that as well, because they are not mind readers. So if you're like, I don't want much medication, but I really do like massage, or is there an acupuncturist in the hospital, which, believe it or not, many hospitals actually have one on staff. Many of them also have pre and postnatal masseuses on staff. Yes, I am not crazy. But once again, on that hospital tour, we don't know if these people are there unless we ask. Okay, so it goes back to kind of that. The last thing on this, and I know that there's many things, and I know I'm already going over time, so please hang in there with me. But a birth playlist is one of the easiest things that you could do. And yes, you can literally have music, whether you're having a C-section or having a vaginal delivery. It does not matter. Just speak to your doctor beforehand and say, hey, listen, I know that we're planning on having this scheduled C-section. I just want to make sure that the babies are born to Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. That's going to be my random song of the day. Feel free to Google it if you do not know that song. And if you don't, you're missing out. Okay, so put that down. Chumbawamba, Tub Thumping. Look that up after this is done. But make a beautiful playlist of the song that was playing the day that your partner, told you they loved you for the first time, or a song that you just fell in love with when you were 16 years old and you just dreamt about having a family. Anything that just brings like light to your heart, I want that to be part of your playlist. Okay? All right. We feel okay? Thumbs up, hearts. Want to know that everybody's with me. That's all. Okay. You guys with me? Yes. Even in the operating music, Perry, you could 100% have music. You just got to give your doctor a heads up. They could plug that playlist. Like you could literally just message it or share it. Like, let's say it's a Spotify playlist, just share it with a doctor and be like, hey, can you play this? Believe it or not, most doctors during operations have nice music playing, because when you're doing like a 9-hour surgery, who wants to sit there and listen to beeping? No one does. Okay. So yes, you could totally have music in the RR. Okay. S Lions, nice to meet you too. Go enjoy your meeting. All right, guys. So next thing is I really want to talk about this. And this is a word that I want you to remember. And I always want you to remember to use your brain. This comes to whether you're advocating during your pregnancy, your postpartum days, for your twinnies, whether it's in the hospital or in school or with the doctor. But I need you to remember that you always need to use your brain. Okay. When it comes to using your brain, this is what it stands for. Let's say the doctor, you're planning on a vaginal delivery, and let's say that the doctor's like, you need to have a C-section. I wanted to ask the doctor, okay, what are the benefits if I have a C-section? And the doctor's going to be like, well, it's going to be a quicker process and the babies are going to be out quickly and everybody's going to be fine and healthy. And you're going to be like, okay, sounds good. What are the risks if I have a C-section? Well, of course, there's risks of having, an infection postpartum, or there's risks of XYZ. I don't know specifically what your case would be, but for me, it was postpartum hemorrhage because I was on blood thinner. So that was one of the risks. You could say, what are the alternatives? And the doctor could say, well, we could do a vacuum delivery or a forceps delivery, or we could change positions, get you on a birthing ball, maybe throw you in the birthing tub. Like, there are sometimes alternatives that nobody's even freaking bringing up to us. But unless we ask what they are, nobody even thinks. Okay. The next thing is the I. I want you to use your intuition. If your intuition is like, no, these babies are going to be born any second, I don't know why they're overreacting and talking about a C-section. I feel like if I just had 5 more minutes, that I'm going to be fine. Tell somebody about that. That's not crazy at all. It's not even like a little crazy. If you feel something, say something. And then, of course, the N in brain is, doc, what if we do nothing? What if we don't do the forceps? What if I don't have the C-section? What's going to happen? And the doctor could say, well, this could happen. And then you say, what are the likelihood that that's going to happen? Right. But really, don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you're somebody that's a little bit more on the timid side, just have your partner ask and say, babe, I need you to do these things. Hold on. You're coming in. Hold on. My son is going on a job interview. Come in. There's only 755 people. Hi. Say hi to everybody. Bend down.
Hello, 755 people.
All right, buddy. Good luck. Knock him dead.
I will.
Go get it. Make that money so I can retire tomorrow. All right, buddy?
All right.
I love you, bud. Exceptional. Get that kid a handkerchief. All right, good. That's it. He's my favorite. She knows it. Okay, it's been well discussed. But I feel like he's only my favorite because my daughter's my husband's favorite. And so we've weirdly chosen sides. Maybe when they were like 3 months, it was fairly easy because nobody wanted to feed her. She had a lot of feeding issues and he was just easy. Like this kid, like seriously, there was no sleep training. It was like by neglect. He slept because we had to take care of her so much. Like he's my baby bee. And by the way, I wish you could have actually seen him behind me because he is a giant child and he was under 4 pounds. He was like a little peanut. And I always say, like, now on this side, I see so many babies every single week. And so I have different flavors of babies. And one is called a tiny dinosaur. You ever see, like, I don't know how well versed you are in the baby world, but like preemies kind of look like little dinosaurs that hatched out of eggs. And they're like, like that. And they're always trying to go back to midline because they don't know that they're out of the womb. And he was totally 100% dinosaur, where her flavor of baby was what I call Winston Churchill, which is all head. She was just like one giant head and then regular baby size. Now she has grown into her head. I am very happy to tell everybody, but I have several flavors. Those are just 2 of the flavors of babies. Maybe I'll tell you them at the Bootcamp for on the 9th. Okay, so make sure you're always using your brain. Hopefully my boy will be using his brain today. During this interview, this is like a big deal interview to him too. So like weirdly, it's an internship with some local New York City politician, which I don't even really know if he's qualified for, but this is like he's going for it. He got the interview. You go, buddy. That's it. I say shoot for the stars, right? You always miss the shots you don't take. That's how I raise my kids. Doesn't hurt. But I am ready. If it didn't go well, I am making his favorite dinner tonight, and we will be having movie night of where we will be watching Planet of the Apes, just in case I have a backup. And if not, then we'll go out to dinner and celebrate if he gets a job. What's the big deal? All right, I digress, guys. I'm sorry. I bring you into my personal life, but I did tell you this. We're our community. I am part of your community, whether you like it or not. You don't get a choice. Okay. All right. So going into recovery, I want to talk about this and I want to talk about how important it is to stay ahead of the pain. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to take any medication, blah, 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 I don't care. Stay ahead of the pain. The minute that you get behind it and the minute you stop taking your medication, it takes so long for you to feel comfortable again. So if they're like, hey, you could press that Jeopardy buzzer every 9 minutes, you better friggin' be sitting there like blah, 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 like you're trying to guess the daily double. Like keep doing it until you need to do it, but stay ahead of the pain. And if they're like, hey, you could only take Tylenol or you could only take ibuprofen, then you better make sure that at that mark you're asking for it. Because if the nurse forgot, or maybe the nurse is coming to you and you're the ninth person, you're going to be like, more than 6 hours out. So know the timing that you're supposed to take your medications and stay on top of it so you don't have any pain. Now, Dr. Brown's is another partner of ours for this class, which I can't even go into how much I freaking love Dr. Brown's. But if you have to bottle feed, do not get stressed about it. No, you do not need to bring bottles to the hospital. But if you do need to bottle feed, I will tell you now, even as a lactation advocate, like a super lactation advocate, it is not going to hurt anybody if you have to bottle feed in the hospital. The reasons why this may happen is that if the twinnies are born with a little high bilirubin, we could go into that whole conversation about bilirubinemia is what it's called. I can barely say it because, and God, don't ever ask me to spell it. But if their bilirubin is a little bit high, then they might want the babies to flush their livers out a little bit faster. And so if you have to bottle feed, whether it's formula, whether it's your colostrum, whether it's your antenatal hand expressed colostrum, what did she just say? She did. Ask me about that later. But having something to have those babies eat is going to be very important. So we do, when we talk in lactation and when we talk in childbirth in general, it's always feed the baby is our first and foremost, protect your supply, and then address any problems that we have, right? So if you're like, I don't have enough of a supply, we still got to do two things before we even worry about addressing any situations. The next thing that I really want to talk about is it is okay to not be okay. If post-delivery, if you're like, I have buyer's regret. I did horribly, by the way. After my babies were born, I have a picture. I don't even know why this picture, my sister took this picture, but I am laying in the hospital bed. The babies were in the NICU. And I said, I don't want to be here. I really don't. And I don't know if any of you have read What to Do When You're Having to, but I tell this story in the book about how basically after they were born, I felt totally incapable of being their parent. And I also felt very undeserving because I delivered early. And so I was like, my body failed me. And therefore, I already failed my children and I should not be able to raise them. And as sad as that is, that was really what I was thinking in my heart of hearts. I was like, I don't deserve these. Like, we should find a family for them that's going to be able to take care of them because it's not me. Of course, we got through that. But I am very, very fortunate that I have a sister that weirdly said to me, okay, let's go. And then she's like, where do you want to go? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we'll just go home and we'll just leave them here. And she's like, okay, let's go home. And so I'm like, we can't go home. And she's like, but you're saying you want to go home. So let's go home. But interestingly, because she's my sister, she's my big sister too, horrible to me during most of my youth, but now weirdly my best friend, as most sisters do. But she knew how to handle me. And I was very, very, very lucky. And the only reason why I was with her and not with my husband is because my husband was in the NICU. And so it was like, it wasn't the day of delivery. I was actually in recovery for a long time. I had a very significant postpartum hemorrhage post, but I did have a blood clotting disorder. So nothing you guys should be worried about. I knew about it, but having people that speak your language is very important. And so like my sister could be there with me being topless. Like I didn't give a crap. My sister's actually the one that weirdly, I will tell you full disclosure TMI, but after delivery, even though I had a vaginal, I could not wash myself. I had no energy. My blood levels were so low, like I was super anemic. You could see every vein, but I really wanted to take a shower. And she's like, okay, let's go. And so literally my sister took me into the shower and like hosed me down like I was a dog, but she did it. And I am forever thankful for that. But those are the people that you want to have there on delivery day. It's not the people that are not going to scrub in if they need to. Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about is post-birth meal. You really need to have a post-birth meal. So high protein, high fiber, Chipotle black bean steak burrito. Yes, thank you. Extra guac. What? Spring freight. You just had twins. Yes, you need protein. We need protein. We need protein. We need protein. I can't say this enough. And even if you are a vegan, you could still have protein. There are many sources of protein, of plant-based protein. I need you guys to have protein, okay, to replace a lot of the blood that you lost and to give you the energy that you need to take care of the next few days of taking care of these babies for the first time, okay? I also need you to drink your freaking water. Now you're like, Nat, what the hell are you talking about? I have to now drink water after delivery. As soon as the doctors give you the green light to eat and drink, you need to drink your water. They will be pressuring you in sometimes not so gentle of a manner to make sure that you have that you pee sometime, that you relieve your bladder after delivery, because if your bladder gets too full, then it's going to sit on your uterus and could irritate it. And your uterus is trying to contract back to normal. And so now we have a little bit of an issue. If you're not peeing, yes, if you had a catheter during your C-section, there is a potential of having the catheter put back in place. Is that a deal breaker? It's not pleasant by any means, but if we can pee, let's try to pee. So if let's say hypothetically you did have that catheter during the C-section, when they take the catheter out, they took all the pee out of you. So now we have to refill you. So drinking that water is going to be important. So water, tea, ginger ale, Gatorade, smart water, don't care, do not care. Red wine, don't have a lot of it, but maybe one glass is fine in the hospital. Just let them know ahead of time. I'm sure the nurses will cheers with you. Okay. But think about rehydration so that you could pee and then everybody leaves you alone and you feel good again. Okay. All right. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is the first introductions to your twinnies. When you are out of delivery, okay, and you are back in your room and you are like, what am I going to do now? Why are there so many babies in this room? Because that is what it will feel like. You will feel like I just delivered a nursery school. What just happened? Just go slow. There is no rush. You are going to be a parent for the rest of your life. And I will tell you, see that big giant hunk of boy that was just in here? I ask him all the time, do you remember when I came late to the NICU? Do you remember when I held your sister more? He remembers garbage. So we're all the things that I was like, oh my God, I'm spending more time with him and not her, or her and not him, whatever. Nobody remembers anything. All that therapy wasted. So just know that just go slow, and it's okay to be nervous, but please, please, please ask for help. People in labor and delivery and all the nurses in labor and delivery, okay, they specifically chose to work in labor and delivery because they love being around babies. I always say they have like the need for an oxytocin high, which is what like happens after we have babies. Like I feel like you're an oxytocin junkie. Anybody that works on the labor and delivery floor, myself included, because seriously, I will eat up all that shit when I'm with you. I'll be like, what? Let me snuggle that baby. So just know it is okay to ask for help. They will help you, whether it's lactation, whether it's going to the bathroom, whether it's washing yourself, whether it's getting something to eat, whether it's getting rid of your mother-in-law because she's driving you crazy. Nobody could help you unless they know you need help. So please, please, please ask for help. Press that button that rings to the nurse's desk. And when they say, can I help you? Just say, I just need help positioning them for a minute. Or could you bring me a few extra blankets? Or my pillow fell on the floor for the 55th time. Could you bring me a new pillowcase? Whatever it is, please make sure that you are asking for help. And really, guys, that water, I'm telling you, it's such a big deal. I am very, very lucky also to go to a lot of labor and delivery rooms after twinnies are born here in the city when people hire me for lactation. And the nurses are so pushy about it. So please drink your water. Nobody needs to know how much you drank or if it was ginger ale or not, but please drink that. And then also, it's totally okay to be nervous. If you've never held a baby, oh, this is going to be my favorite. Let me grab my baby by the head. Oh, I'm throwing everything. But every time I go to a hospital and a baby has to burp, this is always a new mom. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? And they're like, I'm burping the baby. And I'm like, you're burping a baby? What is that going to do? That's not like if a masseuse did that to me, I would get off the table and I would leave. Oh man, who's that little baby in Google Pixel 7a? So when you're burping a baby, you really have to burp a baby. And you have to think about it like if you were to get in, I don't know if any of you had IVF or have ever received any type of vaccination, but when I'm trying to open up this container that doesn't want to open, when you have, okay, like a syringe, right? And your doctor puts whatever it is in there, and the doctor goes like this, and the little bubbles rise to the top. That is what burping is. We have to have the bubbles rise to the top. If we don't tap this baby aggressively enough, but of course, we certainly don't want shaken baby or anything like that, but you do have to get a burp out. This baby needs a little bit of help. But every new mom is like this, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I can't even with you right now. This is it. Let's talk. And they're like, oh, you're hurting the baby. I am not hurting the baby. I have burped hundreds of babies, hundreds of babies. That's it. And literally, you got to really get on in there and you got to go for that good burp because that's how they're going to feel relief. That's how you have to help them. And if your babies do end up in the NICU, it's okay. It sucks. Yes. I wish they weren't in the NICU too, but there is a benefit to the NICU. Weirdly, the weird benefit was they had my babies on a feeding schedule like nobody's business. I never even knew that that was a possibility. My babies came home and were eating every 3 hours like clockwork. It was magnificent, weird, very bizarre. The second thing is they showed me how to do everything. Their little belly buttons fell off while they were in the NICU. So the kids had their first bath in the NICU. They showed me literally step by step every single thing that I needed to know. They took their time and they spent it with me. And the other thing about if you do end up in the NICU, if you fall in love with one nurse, you could say, hey, please, could you be my primary nurse? You're allowed to ask that. If you resonate, like if there's one nurse that you just connect with more than the other, then you just say, hey, listen, could Liz be my nurse? And read my acknowledgments in my book. My NICU nurse, I still to this day talk to my NICU nurse. My kids are going to be 20 in December. I still talk to my NICU nurse. I still speak to my OB. What's that about? Who does that? Apparently I do. I told you I have bad boundaries. I gave you warning about this. I can't lose people who made such an impact in my life like that. I refuse to let them leave my circle of awesomeness because I'll be forever grateful for my NICU team. And not because of the healthcare that they provided to my kids, but for the dedication and the support that they gave to me and my husband. So the NICU, yes, scary. Yes, I don't want you to have to do it. But if you do, find somebody that's going to hold your hand the way that Liz held mine. And there will be somebody there. I guarantee it. Okay. All right. Before I leave you guys, okay, this is the first time we're talking about this in public. Bum, 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 bum. I have created a 2-night class that is exclusively about breastfeeding. It is called Twins on Tap. Yes, because that's literally what I say all the time. And yes, you will get a recording to this whole class. So don't worry about it. We're going to send it to you. We'll upload it to YouTube and you'll have that. But just know for this Twins on Tap class, which Amanda just put that link in there for you, seating is very, very, very limited. It is not an unlimited class like this where we could easily have 50 people on. This is a small, intimate conversation that will be between me, you, and a few other Twiniversity families. Okay, this class will probably be covered by your insurance. So once again, call and ask them. I have every freaking certification under the sun. We'll give you my NPI number. Anything that they need, you let me know. If you have an HSA or flex spending account, this is one of the things that is totally covered underneath it. So this is our Twins on Tap class. There will not be any discounts for this class. So do not wait for it because this class, I have spent so much time putting this together specifically for you. If you are interested in breastfeeding your babies and you are serious about at least breastfeeding for the first 30 days, I'm not saying that you need to breastfeed for the first year, but if you're like, I want to breastfeed for at least the first 30 days, we need to get started. We need to talk about that antenatal hand expression. We need to talk about the first time that you put your babies to breast in the hospital. We need to talk about if they are in the NICU and you are not in the NICU, how that happens. We need to talk about if you have any health issues from hyperthyroidism to a breast biopsy when you were 19 of something that, thank God, never came to be. This is that class. So this will be a 2-night class, and I kindly ask that your partners join you for this class, because breastfeeding twins is not an independent sport. You do need help, and your partner will be the one to help you, but your partner will not know how to help you unless we give them assigned tasks, and that will be my job. Okay, so you don't have to worry about, babe, could you do this? No, literally. If I introduced you to any of the families that I work with one-on-one, and I say to the husband, if I ever heard that she was breastfeeding those babies and there wasn't a cheese tray next to her, and I'm going to let it go if the cheese isn't cut into little stars, like I always say, you're going to be reported to the principal, which is me, and I will call your husband and be like, dude, what's up? Like, we discussed this. What are you doing? She needs help. So please make sure that you register as soon as possible, because seating, I mean, I think I'm capping it out at 10 at best. I really don't think I don't even have a number, but it's not going to be a big class. So grab this. It will be over 2 Mondays, and it will be from 6 to 7:30 or something. It's on there. All the timing is on there. It'll include a ton of digital resources as well. A lot more stuff that we'll ever cover in Bootcamp. But I have a weird feeling that, yeah, I'm not even going to be able to discuss it in boot camp, because boot camp's not till the middle of September. So please register for this. It is right around the corner. It is starting now. So if you are over 23 weeks pregnant, that is when you should take this class, because we need to start talking about the things that you need to have in your house, whether it's a pump like the one next to me. But we designed this because I don't know if you guys know this, but it is World Breastfeeding Week, it's World Breastfeeding Month, actually, and our Breastfeeding Week was last week. But I just know from visiting all the mamas in the hospital just how little resources there are. So I am going to make a wild assumption that even if you have lactation people in the hospital, odds are they are not twin specific lactation people, and you really do need to know shit from, pardon my French, from a twin specific person, because I need you to make double the supply that a traditional singleton would do. And so I do know as fact that I am capable of doing that, and I really want to help you guys get there. So make sure that you scan that and then register as quickly as you can, because space will fill up. All right, and then finally, don't blink it, guys. Like, don't blink. You're going to miss it. As the saying goes, the days are long, but the years are short. All right. They really, really are. So just enjoy as many seconds, whether you take a Twiniversity class, whether you come to Twins on Tap. I'm fine if you do nothing or all of the above. I just still want to make sure that you feel good about your experience. And my role in that is to make sure that you have no regrets. And if there's some way that I could do that for you, it's really by educating. That's kind of my go-to. But the biggest thing I could tell you is it will be a blink. You will know your children so much longer as adults than you ever will as infants. So really appreciate it, soak that in, because it goes from literally the NICU to him being in a 3-piece suit going for an interview with a politician in New York City. It happened in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That's how long it seems. So yeah, please make sure. And that's my Ginger. That's my crazy Ginger. See the fork? This is why she's my husband's favorite and not mine, because she is weird and wonderful, but she's my best friend. She really is. She's genuinely, I know it sounds stupid, and I never believed women when they said that, oh, my daughter's my best friend. My daughter really, I'm not going to, she's like, I would say Monica's my best friend, but she would be second. And then, well, it would be my sister, my bestie, and then my daughter. That would be the role. So yes. And then finally, the last thing that I have for you guys is this is the delivery day deal that I wanted to make sure that you guys had. So grab that if you haven't already. I'll give you a few seconds and I'll start answering some of these questions. So Amanda has been shooting them to me. So are we going to record Twins on Tap? No, we are not going to record Twins on Tap because it is going to be a very private, intimate class. I do not want to do that to those other families. So we do have a twins breastfeeding class that is on demand for you. That is not taught by me. It is actually taught by Sherry, who is twin specific IBCLC in Chicago. We taped it a few years ago. That is there, but it is not taught by me. I have not taped a new twin class. I am much more about live experiences like this when I can, so I can answer questions for you and you guys could sleep better tonight. So unfortunately, I am not going to be recording Twins on Tap. That's going to be a 2-night live event. That's it. The end. But the delivery day deal for the on-demand class, that is the one that you will have 9 months access to. So please make sure that you grab that. And then finally, plump, plump, plump. We always have a huge, huge, huge giveaway. This is our giveaway for this delivery day boot camp. So I wrote it down what we're getting because I never quite remember. You're getting free cord blood banking, which is $57.20. So that's the whole kit and caboodle. You do not have to pay that if you are calling them directly, which is just 1-800-cord blood. But just know you're getting free cord blood banking. You're getting a Baby Bressa Formula Pro Advance, my absolute freaking fave. You're getting a Dr. Brown's twin gift set, which interestingly, I have no idea what that means, but I'm pretty sure that Amanda just randomly picks items and tells Dr. Brown's to send them to you. And you are getting a whole Twiniversity gift package. So you're getting a copy of both of our books. You are getting the an unlimited lifetime access to our Twiniversity app. If you're thinking about using an app for Twinnies, we are currently the only app that literally puts both babies on the same page at the same time still to this day. We are only available in the Apple Store, Google Play. They will be the death of me, so I am very sorry. It is available on Google Play, but it is honestly, it's not as good because Google just has very different regulations than Apple does. We're trying our best. But we also have a gift package from Edelweiss Studios, which is a twin mom who makes artisanal little products specifically for twinnies. So just know we have this really great package that is just for you guys, and it is available for everybody that is here. So make sure that you grab it. And finally, sincerely, I am so humbled and thankful for our partners like CBR, like Edelweiss, Dr. Brown's, and Brezza, because they give me the opportunity to cover things like this for you for free. So the more that I could do for you for free, trust me, I would literally charge for nothing. But my team, we are a big Twiniversity team. I am no longer doing this by myself, thank God, because we reach over 1 million people a week at Twiniversity. So it is absolutely wonderful and exciting. And I am so happy to be the big cheese here for you, but I could not do it without our partners. So everybody say thank you to Amanda, who's playing with us today. Thank you, Miss Amanda. See, we do it like that. Thank you, Miss. Oh, man, look at those babies. They're the sweetest. But yes, I'm so thankful for our team, and I am so thankful for you guys who took a lunch break, time out of your day, time out of watching the freaking Olympics to come play with me. So go watch the Olympics. I am very, very, very excited. There are quite a few sets of twins in the Olympics, which is unbelievable. There are also twin coaches. There are twin judges. I have done all that homework on my own. We do not have an article on it, but I always look to see where our people are. And just know that from now till your 20s go to college, we will be here for you 100%. You just need to let us know. So reach out to us at community@twiniversity.com if you need anything. Scholarships are available. 100% scholarships are available if you need them. Just let us know. We can help you until you let us know how you need the help. Okay? All right, kids, get the heck out of here. I love all of you. Tell your little fetuses to stay in there and be quiet and be good and don't hide. And I have to say, seriously, that was the cutest little bump that I ever did see. Esteluzio, that was just sweet. So feel free, say hi to all your bumps and tell your partners if you're going to take that Twiniversity Expecting Twins class, you airdrop it right onto your television and you watch it as a team. Nothing at Twiniversity is meant just for you. It is really made more for your partner because we know you're Googling at midnight, which you should not be, by the way. Stop Googling after 9 p.m. Okay, that's another pinky promise. No more Googling after 9 p.m. No more Googling ever. Just go to twiniversity.com. We got everything you need, and I know it's accurate, and I know you'll be safe there. Stop with the random Google. Okay, kids, love you guys. See you later, alligators. And until next time, bye, guys. Thanks for joining us.